At max level, you get a 25% hearing bonus. So if you put on an alt in, you literally hear better than a player with 0 perception with no helmet on. It's broken. Like, nobody should be hearing anything further in the game at all. Are you still enjoying Tarkov? Am I still enjoying Tarkov? Yes, actually I am. Thank you for asking. However, I will say this. I'm starting to notice the late game creep starting to happen. We're about how many days in this wipe? 40 days. Pretty good. Like, this is by far... Wait, I thought I've been over 500 raids for a hot minute. That's weird. Anyway, so we're about 40 days into the wipe, and this has by far been one of the best wipes there's ever been. Like, by far. Like, even early days, pre-flea market, like, I think this is one of the best wipes that's ever happened. A lot of the economy changes, a lot of the gameplay changes, inertia. It's fantastic. I fucking love it. It's really good. However, I'm starting to notice some of the late game creep kind of creeping in. And that's not so much with gear and equipment, it's with the skills and abilities. This is something I've been talking about for a long time, is the skills and abilities are fucking busted. Mainly strength and endurance. They're fucking broken. They're so overpowered. Players who have level 51 strength and 51 endurance have tremendous advantage over everybody else who plays this game. Everybody. And mind you, max strength and endurance players last wipe, it was only like 5% of the community who played Tarkov got max strength and endurance. 5%. And so the reason why I think it's overpowered is, first of all, jump height. This is kind of busted. Bunny hopping is still a thing. And you can still like zigzag and like bunny hop. There's no inertia when sprinting. BSG is going to address that though. And second, the increased movement speed is also fucking broken because you get a 20% movement bonus from max level strength. And not only that, at max level strength, you have a perk that basically removes all of the weight from your helmet, your contacts, your glasses, your face cover, your guns, your handgun, your melee weapon, your chest rig, and your backpack. The only thing that weigh you down are items in your inventory. So the magazines, my meds, my grenade, and anything in my backpack, and anything in my gamma container. Even the gamma doesn't weigh anything. And on top of that, at max level strength, you have a 10% bonus to like less inertia, basically. So inertia at 0 strength scales at 0 weight. So at 1 kg, you start having negative impacts of inertia. At 50 strength, at 10 kg is when you start having any negative impacts of inertia. So you have a 10% mitigation of inertia. I'm starting to notice the late game creep between mainly strength and endurance, because endurance allows you to sprint around a lot. You can still do crazy like zigzagging and bunny hopping. And if you have a huge pool of stamina, you can do a lot of that. You can do a fucking lot of it. You can zigzag and run around and do all this crazy shit. Same thing with strength. Like, strength increases your jump height, increases your movement speed, and also mitigates inertia and makes it to where you don't fucking weigh anything. So you can literally have a mountain of gear on you and still move around like fucking Usain Bolt. I'm starting to notice that, like, the late game creep, and it's mainly with the skills. Everything else is fine. Like, the gear and the economy is fine. Like, I'm not seeing super sweaty chads everywhere with like crazy ammo. It's actually cool. Like, a lot of the meta right now is like low recoil, like subsonic rounds. And I think that's kind of neat because people want that low recoil, but it sucks at range and it doesn't have that great AP power. So if you have like level 4 or 5 armor, 4 or 5 visor, like that's going to hard, like, you know, that's going to hard stop that shit in its tracks, which I think is pretty cool. And that prolongs the TTK overall in the game, which is good. And also, this is another one, perception. This is another broken fucking skill. At max level, you get a 25% hearing bonus. So if you put on an alt in, you literally hear better than a player with 0 perception with no helmet on. It's fucking broken. Like, nobody should be hearing anything further in the game at all. Like, it encourages camping in an unfair manner because EFT's audio is fucking broken. You can hear things through walls and all that kind of shit. Literally, with max level perception with contacts, you can hear somebody sprinting 100 meters away. 100 meters away, you can hear somebody sprinting. And so you can literally post up in a bush and wait for that guy because you could hear him running 100 meters away. That's fucking ridiculous. It, like I said, it encourages a bad meta of unfair camping. And again, I'm not against camping. I do it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I love setting up ambushes. But like, it gives an unfair advantage for high level players with high level perception because of the realistic distance that they can hear things, especially when you tack contacts on top of that. It's really the skills that I think are one of the core issues with like gameplay at the moment. Is it's perception, it's strength, it's endurance. I don't really know what the recoil bonuses are looking like for a lot of the weapon skills. Frankly, they don't level that fast anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. And frankly, they've nerfed them a couple times in the past, so I think they're probably in a good spot. And potentially covert movement could be pretty OP too, but it does level pretty slowly. Like I have almost 500 raids and I slow walk almost every raid, and I'm only like level 18. But I'm sure there's some people out there who have some pretty high experience levels in it. But yeah, it's just, I think like this again, the swipe is amazing. Best fucking patch that the issue's ever released. It's fantastic, but I think it's time that the skills get looked at, because from like a design perspective, I think like having players who play this game all day like me, and other players who have enough time to play this game all day like me, when they can have these huge bonuses from the stats, it puts them on another pedestal that is like way above like 90% of the player base, if not 95% of the player base, because only 5% of the community, I think it was like 20,000 people or something like that, got max strength and max endurance last swipe. But like when you have those max level stats and abilities, it literally puts you on a whole nother fucking level in terms of your ability to maneuver and fight compared to everybody else. And if it was up to me, the difference between max level strength and endurance would be about 10%. So that way the bar between like a level 0 player who's new and a level 50 player who has 50 strength and 50 endurance, or 51, wouldn't be that much of a difference. It would just be a placebo buff. So that way it's like, even if you're like a level 20 player with 10 endurance and 10 strength, you're really like compared side by side, you're not going to be that different. Like I really feel that the movement of your character as well as your stamina drain should be entirely dependent on the weight of your equipment. So if you want to be fast, bring in lighter gear. Don't go in very heavy. If you want to have a lot of armor and you want to like wear heavier kit, that's fine. But you're going to suffer from being a little slower, and you're going to be a little louder, and you're not going to be as fast. But you have that armor advantage. And what's great is, since strength also, increases your carry weight over time as you level up strength, kits that used to slow you down don't slow you down as much. And I feel like that's a fair buff from the strength stat, because I think at max level it's a 25% carry bonus. So like Alton Slick at level 0 make you feel pretty slow, but once you get like level 30, 40, it doesn't slow you down as much anymore. And so you can move a little bit faster, but not a lot, but just a bit. And I think that's a really fair advantage, aside from 11% or 20% on top of that when you max out the stat. And so like, again, this wipe's fucking great. I love it. It's the best the game has ever fucking been, but the skills I think need a good look, because like it is, in my opinion, it gives an unfair advantage to people who have a lot of time to play this game, compared to, just your regular dude who can only play like 2 or 3 raids a night or something after work. It's frankly, it's just not fun fighting those guys either. Like they're still moving really fast. It's like inertia doesn't exist for them. Because their kit literally doesn't weigh anything, and I think it's a little unfair. Yeah. And perception hearing range is obviously busted as well. Having weight affect your movement ability would affect that's the point. CS, that's kind of the point. Like having your weight affect your movement increases the risk reward. So like if you have a lot of shit in your bag, guess what? There's a feature in the game where you can throw your backpack on the ground. So if somebody starts shooting at you, press Z, drop your bag on the ground. All of that weight is now gone. That's a feature. It's there. Like fighting with the backpack on is not something that's comfortable. Like eventually, like how, we have turn speed debuffs and ergo debuffs to, armor. It's going to be the same thing for backpacks one day. That's already confirmed. They're going to do that. Backpacks will eventually debuff your turning speed and stuff like that. So having a raid bag on top of having loot in it will make you a slow boy, as it would, I hate to say this, in real life, because like having a huge cumbersome backpack full of shit doesn't mean you get to move around like fucking Usain Bolt. Like just throw it on the ground. If you get shot at, throw your fucking backpack on the ground and then fight. Now I personally don't think this should remove the skills. I think the skills are cool. It's a cool, fun RPG mechanic. It's a good mechanic, but it's more so just like the unfair advantage of like the highest pinnacle of players who get those max level skills. It's a bit broken in my opinion. I think it's a bit busted. Anyway, end of the rant.